What's going on, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are not in the Fantasy Baseball League or don't want to listen to Fantasy Baseball talk, this is not going to be the video for you. You don't want to be here listening to baseball, get out. It's all Fantasy Baseball in this video. Anyway, there has been a lot of talk and differing opinions on how we should move forward with the Fantasy Baseball League. Alright, the first thing we need to do is get through who is still going to be in this league. I think there are about 8 or 9 of us who have been active in the chat boxes who are going to be around again next season. Alright, so we still have 6 or 7 slots we need to fill. Alright, I will send several emails this week to other owners who have not responded. Hopefully, we will have a better idea who will be returning by next week. Okay? I also need to know if you have any friends who would like to be in the league. With Bollin out, yes, his balls are in a jar. Yeah. Whipped. That's all I gotta say.
You know, whipped. Whoop-a! It's not whipped. Whipped is... That's what I did. Whoop-a!
I'm down to 1 replacement owner, definite right now. I can have all the replacement owners we need. It's really not a problem. I've got a pretty big network of people who would be willing to join. But I wanted to give you all a chance to invite people to the league as well. So if you do know people who want to come in, let me know as soon as possible, please. Otherwise, it won't be a problem. I'll just get my people to come in. But wanted to give you a shot as well. Okay, I want to talk about this being a keeper league. I know I've mentioned earlier that I do not want this to be a keeper league. Let me reiterate that fact. If you want to be in a keeper league, go join one. This is not going to be the league for keepers, alright? I'm not going to put it up to a vote. Don't really want to discuss it any further. If it's just not going to be a keeper league, other than you have the right to retain your keeper team if you choose to. That's it. We're not going to turn this into a standard keeper league. It's just not how this league is going to work. Alright, yeah, so that's that. Alright, there's been a lot of talk about fairness in the league. Let me go through a couple points people have made. Alright. One person suggested an auction draft with different budgets. Okay? Unless I am mistaken, this will not work through ESPN because they do not allow for different budgets for each team. And I sure as heck do not want to hold an auction draft through a chat box or something like that. It'll be even worse than it was last year, and last year was just a pain in the ass. So that's really not an option at this point. I do like the idea a lot. It would be the preferred method if we could do it. So what I'm going to do is contact ESPN and see if something can be worked out with that. But for right now, it's just simply not an option because I think it'll be a logistical nightmare. Alright, number 2, giving the bottom teams like a supplemental pick. This also doesn't work the way ESPN drafts. I think the idea basically was do a normal snake draft, but after the first round, like the bottom 5 teams get an extra pick, like a sandwich pick in real Major League Baseball drafting. Again, we run into the problem of where that ESPN just doesn't work this way. You can't do it, and we would run into the problem of where do you draw the line? Which teams get it? Is it the bottom 5 teams from last year? Is it the bottom 5 teams according to your keepers? It'd be just a headache, and I don't think it's possible anyway. So I'm going to scrap that idea. Number 3 is a non-snake draft. I've come full circle on this one. I think it's too much of an advantage for the worst teams. Having an advantage of going first, second, or third every single round for 16 rounds, I think is just a little bit too extreme, giving too much of an advantage for finishing badly next year. So that is that. Alright, my proposal. Number 1. First, we have to determine who will be in the league next year. Okay? Number 2, after we get that done, we need to determine who our keepers will be. Still 9 from each team. Okay? Number 3, determine a random order for the snake draft. Alright, I'll explain that more in detail in a second. Okay? Number 4, a week before the draft, okay, of April 3rd, we'll hold 2 rounds of non-snake drafting. Alright? Draft order will be based on your finish last year, worst to first. I don't really want to do it based on your keeper rating, simply because people will tank their last couple picks to try to get a better pick in the supplemental draft. Whereas at this if we do it on worst to first finish, at least it's already set. There's no rule changes I can make to make it fair or unfair. I mean, I'd be getting the 13th pick, so it's not in my advantage at all. Whereas if we were just doing it by player rater, I would keep the top Cardinals and then pick for my last 3 picks, pick some crappy guys to get the number 1 pick in the supplemental rounds. I don't think that's fair, so I don't want to do it that way. Anyway, so after we had the 2 rounds of supplemental draft, that'd be like the last weekend in March, I will enter all 11 of the players that you have at this point into your roster as keepers. Okay? That way, on April 3rd, we can go into the ESPN, use their software for a normal draft, and have a snake draft based on the random order on April 3rd. Okay? I think that this way, weaker teams from last year have an advantage, but not for 16 straight rounds because of those 2 supplemental rounds. The snake draft is supposed to be equal for everyone, and I figure the random draft is the way to go here. I can do some kind of video where I put everybody's name in a hat and draw it out. That way everybody can see it's random. Anyway, let's see. After the random snake draft is set, which will be right after we get our team set, hopefully in about 2 weeks, you'll be able to trade either your 2 supplemental draft picks, your snake draft picks, and your 9 keepers. All right, to anyone you like for any combination. Okay. That way we can have, an active off season for February and March. Hopefully a lot of trades will be going on. It should be pretty fun. Let's see. For people that, because there won't be auto picking, because we're doing the supplemental rounds, probably in the chat box or something like that, but at least it's only 2 rounds, so it won't be that bad. I'll have a list of the player rater for ESPN, and if someone doesn't show up, I will just assign them the top guy in the player rater. That way we don't have to worry about, oh, let's vote on this, let's vote on that. It'll just be set up like that. Okay, so that's how the supplemental round, 2 rounds would work. I think this idea is fair. I think it's kind of a combination of what everybody wants. I hope that clarified some things. Again, I will do my very best this week to try to find out exactly who's going to be in the league. If you know people who want to be in the league, let me know as soon as possible. And if you haven't formally let me know yet, please tell me your keepers or whether or not you want to drop your team. Alright, thanks a lot. Have a great day. Namaste. See you later.